The cops showed up at my lake like I was a fugitive. Midnight lights flashing, sirens echoing off the water, and Patricia Ellison, queen of Crestview Heights, HOA, standing there in heels too expensive for dirt roads, screaming that I was trespassing on my own land. Yeah, my own land. 10 years I've owned that ranch. 10 years since Emily and I signed the papers with calloused hands and hopeful hearts. And now I'm being treated like a criminal for camping by the lake we built our dreams around. Let me back up a sec. It was a quiet Friday night, my usual ritual. Old camping chair, six-pack on ice sandwich from the fridge, and the same fire pit Emily and I used to watch burn while planning our future. She's been gone 5 years now, but this was still our place. The lake, the cottonwoods, that view of the stars, it's the only place I can still hear her laugh if the wind's right. Then came the sirens, and Patricia, HOA badge flashing like it meant something out here. She points at me like I'm some squatter. "That's him, officer." Her voice sharp enough to cut through pine. Deputy Brian Walsh stepped out of the cruiser guy I used to fish with back in high school. Good guy. Or he used to be. Now he's fidgeting like a teenager caught with a joint. "Dan, we got a complaint," he says, voice low, not meeting my eye. "She says this lake belongs to the HOA." I stood slow, reached into my jacket, pulled out the land deed I carry like gospel. "This is mine, Brian. Every inch. Bought and paid for. My name, Emily's name, it's all there." Before he could take it, Patricia snatched the papers and flipped through them like she knew what she was looking for. "These could be fake," she scoffed, tossing them back like trash. "This lake has always been part of our watershed." I laughed, short and bitter. "My papers don't lie, Patty, even if you do." She smiled that smug, Botox-tight grin and said, "This land's not yours, buddy. And soon, everyone will know it." Brian walked me to my truck like he was escorting a prisoner. Promised he'd look into it, but his tone said otherwise. I drove home, gripping the wheel hard enough to leave dents in the leather. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One line, "Leave the lake, or you'll lose more than land." That's when I knew this wasn't just a petty power grab. This was war. Back at the ranch, I tore through every document I had. Deeds, maps, tax records sprawled across the table like a crime scene. Then I saw it. A faint word penciled in on an old town hall map shared. My stomach dropped. Could that be what Patricia's banking on? I needed answers. Fast. So I called Evelyn Harper, local historian, walking encyclopedia, an old friend. She picked up like she'd been expecting me. "Let me guess," she said, "Patty's sniffing around your lake." Next morning, I showed up at Evelyn's with every paper I owned. She made tea, handed me a faded file, and said, "You're not the first." HOA tried the same thing on the Garrisons 5 years ago. Adjusted county records, claimed water rights, drove them out with legal fees and threats. Then she dropped the real bomb. Patricia Ellison. Not her first rodeo. Evelyn handed me a newspaper clipping from Nevada, same woman, same grin, different state. Tried stealing waterfront property from elderly folks using forged documents. Lost the lawsuit hard. Fled Nevada. Reinvented herself here. And now she was running the same con. That night I got an email from Patty. Legal speak, cease and desist, attached photos of me at the lake taken over months. She'd been watching me, stalking me, planning. Then came Todd. Todd Brennan, one of Patty's HOA lapdogs, showed up on my porch in a wrinkled suit and too much cologne. Offered me a generous settlement to sign over the lake rights. Said there'd be no court, no media, no drama, just peace. I asked what happens if I say no. He smiled. Cold. "Then you lose everything. Ranch, job, reputation." I stepped forward, made him flinch. "My papers don't just talk, Todd. They win." He left in a cloud of dust. That same day, Evelyn handed me a photo from her archives. Patty, years younger, standing by a lake nearly identical to mine, holding a canister marked with hazard symbols. My heart dropped. And that night it happened. My gate, welded steel, was rammed clean off its hinges. Fresh tire tracks led down toward the water. I followed them and saw something new floating in the lake. Oily film, rainbow sheen. I knew that smell. Chemicals. I raced to my cameras. The decoys were untouched, but the real ones, hidden in birdhouses and fence posts, had caught everything. Just after midnight, a cloaked figure approached the lake carrying a container. Glint of an HOA badge in the moonlight. They dumped sludge into the water, barrel after barrel. And then a face. One of Patty's lawyer's assistants, clear as day. I backed up the footage, saved it to 5 different drives, drove straight to the sheriff's office and slammed it on Brian's desk. "You wanted proof. Here's your damn proof." He paled, watching it. Said Patty had promised him a sheriff's seat. Connections. Power. but seeing her pour poison into a lake that snapped him out of it. "I'm opening an investigation," he said. "Immediately." I played along, wrote a fake surrender letter, let Patty think she'd won. Evelyn hand-delivered it, and within hours, Patty threw a victory party at the Crestview Clubhouse, posted selfies, toasted her win. She didn't know I'd planted the trap. Next morning, I released the video, titled it "Simple HOA President Caught Poisoning Private Lake." It blew up in hours. Thousands of views, hundreds of comments. Even people in Crestview Heights turned on her. One woman wrote, "She stole my garden." Said the roses weren't regulation. They came from my grandmother. The final court date came fast. The courtroom packed press protesters' neighbors. I showed the footage, the poisoning, the vandalism, the threats. Then I dropped the Nevada case. Showed her pattern, her history, her husband's shady law firm, the forged records. When Todd took the stand and admitted everything, Patty snapped, lunged at him, screamed traitor before being dragged out. Judge didn't hesitate. $100,000 fine, permanent removal from HOA, banned from holding office again, her husband's law license suspended. And then came my move. I pulled out a deed. "I now own 40 acres of Crestview Heights," I said, "including your clubhouse, your pool, and your precious golf course." Gasps filled the room. "As largest landowner, I'm dissolving this HOA, effective immediately." Patty stumbled, actually tripped, couldn't speak. I didn't wait around. Had a party at the lake that night. Folks who'd feared her for years came and celebrated. Someone brought a cake with a fondant figure of Patty falling off a throne. Evelyn gave a toast that had the whole crowd in stitches. But just as the sun set, a stranger approached. "Mr. Carver," she said, "I'm from 2 towns south. Our HOA makes Patty look tame. 3 homes seized last year, forged docs, threats, same playbook. Will you help us?" I looked at her folder in hand, eyes tired from fighting alone. And I thought of Emily. "This lake's our home," she once said. "But maybe the fight's bigger than just a lake." I smiled, took the folder, and said, "Let's see what we can do. Because the war for justice ain't over, not until folks like Patty are out of power for good."